Today we've got a CEX lottery. Now, some of you may remember, like, maybe 2 weeks ago at this point, I bought all of the Yakuza games, and my Yakuza Kiwame came and was a reprinted cover, which is like... CEX have got a few rules, and that's like the number one that they're not allowed to do is they're not allowed to send out reprinted covers. Like when I took it into my local CEX to return it, they were like, they were shocked. Anyway, I returned that, and I also returned Yakuza 6 because that one came as a PlayStation Hits edition, which I didn't really want because it would have been the only red one amongst the other ones on the shelf. Well, besides the Yakuza collection. Even that's only kind of red. But either way, we've got another shot at it, along with one extra game because it's kind of been a struggle to find. And then I think I might actually be taking a trip into CEX today as well anyway, because I think there's a few things that are potentially in my local all of a sudden that I'm also after. So let's get this open. I haven't looked yet. Usually I do this first for TikTok, but today we'll do it first for YouTube. Let's have a look what's in it, shall we? Let's see if this will come off easily, one-handed, because I'm holding the camera. This is not going well. Okay, we'll just do it the non-fun way. Either way, open. Right, it should be 3 games in here. Let's see which one I pull out first. There we go. That's better. Not a reprinted cover this time. I think I know where this has come from as well, because I keep an eye on the stock of loads of games, and I think this has come from Telford CEX. Weird that they always leave one sticker on, but not the price sticker. Next up, we've got... again... Do I give up? Do I try again? I don't know. I'll think about it. It's not the biggest deal in the world that it's a PlayStation Hits edition. Like, I don't care that much. The bigger problem was the Yakuza Kiwame, but like... I wish you could opt in and out of these things. Anyway, game number 3 is Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, which, is that a dent in the case? A little bit. And the disc sounds like it's sliding around. It was. Let me just have a look at the disc. Nothing bad. Seems all good to me. Is the spindle okay? Yeah. So, a pretty successful CEX lottery. I'm undecided on whether or not I'll bother sending back Yakuza 6 again, or whether I'll just, deal with it. Because like I said, I don't really care that much. The only reason I sent it back the first time was because I was already sending back one. I might as well have tried again with both. I don't know if I can be asked to order it for a third time for the sake of having not a red one, especially when... I don't know. Hang on. Obviously, my shelf is technically full at the moment, but imagine this bit wasn't here. What do we think? You see how it stands out versus the others? Again, not the biggest deal in the world. Don't really care that much. What do we think? Would you guys replace it? Would you guys replace it and try again? Let me know. As for Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, you would think, being an Assassin's Creed game, that it would be one of the easier games that I could try to find, because if you've ever walked into an Assassin's Creed game, you will see that they have an abundance of pretty much every Assassin's Creed game in every CEX through the entire franchise of the game. But for some reason, specifically Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered for the PlayStation 4 has been almost kind of quite hard to find. I don't know why. But typically when I play through these games, and I've played through them, I think 3 times in the last 5 years, I typically play them on the Xbox, and next time I want to play them on the PS4, and I've now got all of them on the PlayStation 4, so we can do that a lot more easily. Granted, I'll probably still have to play Assassin's Creed 1 through Xbox Series X through it being backwards compatible, and that's probably the best way to play that, but yeah. I do now have 5 PS4 games that do not have space on the shelf, so at some point in the next few days it's going to be a case of I start moving some Xbox One stuff out and rearrange stuff to try to make it fit. We'll see. I think it'll be move Xbox One stuff out so that Xbox 360 stuff can be moved down. Also, can we just take a moment? I love this. This is one of my favourite things in my room. It costs next to nothing. I think the frame was like 20, 30 quid. And then each one of the cards is maybe 3 quid each. Like, they're not expensive versions of the cards. They're just pretty versions of the cards. And they're just cards that I loved as a kid. So I was like, yeah, I want to be able to see them. Yeah. Anyway, so my partner is currently out getting her nails did. When she's back, I think I'll go to CEX, because I think there's a few things that I need to pick up in there. I think they're primarily PS3 games though, which should be alright. Right, then we're ready to go. Someone in one of the other parts of this, I don't know, CEX halls was like, what's the camera? Because small, compact, doesn't take up much space and decently good quality. It's a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. And I do have the creator version, which has got like the extra thing that goes on the bottom and the wireless microphones. But honestly, I don't even bother using them because I think the internal microphone's decently good enough, and having that extra camera would be mild. The extra microphone clip to me would be mildly annoying. I'm never far enough away from the camera for it to make much of a difference. Right then, let's head off to our local. I think I'm getting 5 games. Only 2 out of 5 are actually going to fit on the shelf at the moment with the current present space problems. But one of the games is a game that I've been after for quite a long time that is never in any of my local CEXs. It was in one that is kind of local to me for a few days, and I was going to go and get it, but by the time I actually went, it was already gone. And now it is in my actual nearest one, so I'm like, right, let's go. Let's go, come on. The town is decently busy for a Monday afternoon. And the amount of barbers in this town is mental. I don't know how they stay open. Probably all the broccoli haircuts they have to cut. What's going on here then? It's all wrecked. Now that SpongeBob thing's gone. Okay, so this CEX always has a decent selection of PlayStation 3 stuff. And I'm always on the lookout for steelbooks recently because there's been a few occasions where, especially on PS3, I've seen steelbooks. Also, a weird amount of Fallout 3 versus Fallout New Vegas, or at least I'm after Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition because I got the Game of the Year edition for PS3 the other day for Fallout 3. But there's Singularity, which is decently rare game. Also, it is hard to record when I'm carrying so much stuff. When I'm solo, I don't have somebody to pass stuff off to. Check this out though, Fall of Cybertron. In a lot of CEXs, that game would have been behind the counter. This CEX is very trustworthy, trusting of its members. Saw as well. Decently rare game, only 15 quid though at the minute. I feel like the PS3 version might be more, or maybe it's Saw 2 that's the expensive one. I think Saw 2 might be like £42, something like that. I've been recently taking a look at the 360 stuff just because you never know what you might see. I'm not looking to get rid of most of my 360 stuff. It's more the Xbox One stuff because 360 is still a great console. It's just that I choose to get stuff on PS3. Also, quite a few Ratchet games, but sadly... Oh, and Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus is a cool game. Sadly, those Ratchet games, a lot of them are Platinums, and I don't really have the space for more PS2 as it is. Just Cause 3. See, there's some Hitman at the top. I'm tempted by Hitman, but yeah, we'll see. There's my copy of Yakuza 6 and Kiwami that I brought back in. You know, the ones that I got shipped out in the last failed CEX lottery. Sadly, still got the PlayStation Hits version, but it is what it is. Also, check this out. Someone traded in a £3,000 processor to CEX. Right, I also popped into the pet shop to get Ruby some new treats because she's running out. It was a birthday yesterday, so she had many treats. And yeah, so interestingly, when I was in CEX, there was a couple of games that I nearly bought, but I didn't because I was like, I think they're too far removed from what I like. I've spoken before about how I kind of want to try some more stealth-focused games, starting with maybe Metal Gear Solid. The Hitman games, there was a nice steelbook of Hitman Season 1, but next to it was a PS4, both PS4, there was a Hitman Definitive Edition. So I was there Googling which one's technically the version you're probably supposed to get, because they both sound like they're supposed to have all the content from Hitman 1 in. Although it's first season, so was that episodic? Because there was a bit where like every game was trying to be episodic to monetize better. But I think that they dropped the episodic format with Hitman 2 and 3 perhaps, because there was a Hitman 2 and 3 also next to it on the shelf. And I nearly got them, but I didn't, because I think that... I don't think they're my style. I think they're a little bit too far removed from the way that I play perhaps, but maybe at some point. I don't think that steelbook's that rare, because there were 2 of them. Granted, one of them was in awful condition, like the sleeve cover that was on it was like piss stain yellow, whereas the one next to it was like teeth vibrant white. I'm sure that's a colour somewhere in B&Q. Anyway, let's go home, let's go see the dog, and show you what I got. You can't lick my camera, Ruby. Not allowed. Big 1-year-old. I remember when you fit in the palm of my hand. She still only weighs like 4 kilos though. Look at this with a paw on my shoulder. Hello. It's my doggy. Resting her head on me. Okay, we're home. Let's do me haul, shall we? So, we got... Oh, perfect. It was even facing up. Just Cause 3, which at this point I think I own 3 times, because I think I own it digitally on both Xbox One and PS4. But you know me with physical stuff. I did also want Just Cause 2, but sadly, the Just Cause 2 on the PS3 they had was a Platinum version, which is strange, because there are not many games made for PS3 that got Platinums, because Platinum was sort of discontinued and replaced with PlayStation Hits, with, you know, the red cases. So yeah, didn't get that. We'll get it at some point when it comes up. And also Just Cause 4, none of that. Canuck apparently have got a few, and I was there the other day, so shame I didn't get one then. But either way, Just Cause 3. Next up, this was the game that I went to get. This is the one I've been after for a while. It's one of those games from like the 2010s-ish, where it's a first-person shooter, single-player story, like the Wolfenstein game that came out around the same time. I think it was even by the same developers. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a pretty decent game, and I've been after it for a while. And like I say, it's rare. It's rare that it's in a CEX anywhere near me. And finally, good old Skyrim. The thought occurred to me the other day. I was talking about midnight releases in a video, and I was talking about how I remember the midnight release of Skyrim like it was yesterday, despite the fact that it was 13 years ago in a couple of months. And Christ, 13 years. And the thought occurred to me, I haven't actually got a physical version of Skyrim ever since that version. And I feel like I should have one. So I got the PS4 version because it's probably the definitive version. I think there's about 7 definitive versions at this point. Granted, obviously it's probably best played on PC, but physical reigns supreme in my office. I'm surprised there is no PlayStation 5 re-release GTA style, because GTA 5 has got a PS5 version, so I'm surprised Skyrim doesn't. But yeah, that was the 3 games that I got today, which is arguably one of the cheaper hauls that I've done in a while, because what's that, like 20 odd quid? Not bad. Anyway, before I go, let's talk about a different kind of video that I'm going to start making. So you guys know that I do my playthrough videos, and I started screen capturing it properly rather than recording with my camera. But what I want to do is I want to trial doing retrospective style content, like video essays, because I really enjoy watching them. Like when I'm playing games, I often have like a 3-hour long retrospective on in the background while I'm playing, and I really wish I had the ability to do that. And I think I could do well with those because of the way that I speak. If I was to get decent at writing the script for it, I think that I could do that pretty well. And I think my USP with those is the fact that I play so many games. I think for a lot of creators, those video essays, they only do a few a year because they perhaps don't play that many games per year, but I think I could do way more than that. I'm thinking I could condense them down as well, rather than being multi-hours. Maybe I somehow make it like 30 minutes to an hour perhaps, I don't know, it depends on what I'm capable of writing. Granted, here's the thing, and this is a bit of a social media tip for anybody that's looking to get into this, is there's no better time to do a thing than right now. Stop waiting, stop hoping that you're just going to be good as soon as you start, because you won't be. Your first your first anything you do on social media is probably not going to be very good. Even the way that you speak to the camera is like a skill that you got to develop over time. So realistically, I'm not expecting my first few retrospectives to be that good, but it's one of them that as you do more of them, you get better at them. As with everything on social media. So it's one of them where I need to not just keep thinking about doing it and actually just give it a go enough times that we get good at it. So I'm thinking I'm going to do that with Dead Rising 2, 3, and 4. Because obviously I've just done my live playthrough. Maybe that's what I do. That could be a really good idea. There we go. I could do my live playthroughs of new games, because people are actually bothered about watching playthroughs of new games. People are generally not bothered about watching playthroughs of older stuff, but they are interested in watching retrospectives. There we go. That was a light bulb idea. It doesn't have to be all... I talk about this all the time on TikTok when people ask me questions in a binary fashion when things don't need to be binary. For some reason, my thought process was pretty binary about that. I'm like, should I have to do a live playthrough, or do I have to do a retrospective? I don't have to do either. I could do both. For new stuff, I can do a live playthrough because people are bothered about that, and it could be fun. Because like the Dead Rising playthrough I did the other day was fun. But for older stuff like the rest of the Dead Rising franchise that people are less bothered about watching a live franchise for, I can do a retrospective style video. That's a good thought. So yeah, I'll give it a go. We'll see. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe, all that sort of thing, and I'll see you next time.